My brother stole the name I'd been saving for my son since I was 15. Now he can't get anyone in our family to use it. Trent has treated my life like a sample rack since we were kids. He took the trade school I'd talked about for a year, dropped out, and then told everyone the trades were for guys with no other options. He proposed to his girlfriend 11 days before my wedding, so we'd have to move our date. He borrowed my truck for a weekend in 2019 and returned it in 2021. Every single time, I let it go, because he's my little brother, and I helped raise him after our father left. Then he took Amos. Amos was my grandfather. He took us in when my mom couldn't manage it, and he taught me everything I know about working with my hands. He used to stand behind me at the bench and say, "Slow is smooth, son. Nobody's chasing you." He died 4 years ago and left me his tools and a shoebox of letters he'd written and never sent. I read those letters on the worst nights of my life. I decided at 15 that if I ever had a son, that was his name. My wife, Priya, knew. Through 3 years of trying, through 2 losses, through a night in a hospital parking lot I don't like to think about, that name was the one piece of the future I let myself keep. Trent knew too. He thought it was funny. He called it my old man name and said I was sentimental about junk. So when he stood up at his gender reveal and announced they were naming their son Amos, I actually set my drink down. I pulled him aside in the kitchen and asked if he was serious. He knew exactly what that name meant to me. He shrugged and said, "It's not like you're using it. You've been trying for what, 3 years?" Then he smiled and added, "Besides, it sounds better on my kid anyway." That was the moment something in me went quiet. I didn't argue. I didn't tell anyone what he said. I just started making calls. Here's what Trent forgot. Our family runs on nicknames. Our aunt has been Peaches since 1974. Our cousin Darnell is Sparky because he stuck a fork in an outlet at 6. My grandfather himself went by Bud his entire adult life. Almost nobody outside the family ever knew his real name was Amos. That's the part Trent never bothered to learn. So a month before the baby came, I started saying it. Amos is a big name for a little guy. Around here, we'd have called him Moose. Trent hates that kind of thing. He's the one who moved 40 minutes away to a neighborhood with a gate and corrects people who call him Trenton. He'd picked Amos James because he thought it sounded refined. The first time I said Moose at the hospital, my aunt laughed and repeated it. The second time, my grandmother said it. And once my grandmother says something, it's settled law. By the christening, the family group chat had been renamed. My uncle bought him a onesie with a moose on it. Somebody's wife knitted him a hat with antlers. Trent corrected people constantly. He posted on Facebook that his son's name was Amos James and that he'd appreciate everyone using it. He pulled me aside twice and told me to knock it off. I said I didn't know what he meant. Everybody just liked it. You cannot fight a nickname that sticks. That's not something anyone can do for you or to you. It just decides. The part that finished it happened at Easter, at my grandmother's table, with about 20 of us there. That kid was 13 months old, and he pointed at the moose on the front of his own shirt and said his first word, "Moose." I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Priya and I have a son now. He was born in February, 7 pounds even, and we named him Amos. He gets called Amos because I'm the only one in this family who ever calls a thing by its right name. Trent found out at the hospital and asked if I was doing it to get back at him. I told him no. I told him my grandfather went by Bud for 60 years and never once minded, because he knew who he was and it didn't depend on what anybody called him. Then I told him he had 18 years of parent-teacher conferences to explain his kid's name to strangers, and I hoped he'd figure out something good to say.